Late today, the Rock Island coroner confirms the body is that of a missing man. Good evening, I'm Chris Carter. Trying to keep the water from coming up any further, and that barrier broke. In these emails we obtained, we found the city detailed some concerns more than a day before. And we do know that the soft lockdowns at the other schools here in town have also been lifted. There was never a threat. He says that they are going to now be performing a grid search out here, so they've asked the media to step out of this trailer park. The latest now on Hurricane Dorian. Tonight, as the storm dies out along the eastern seaboard, help from the Quad Cities is being relocated. Volunteers from the local Red Cross sent to Florida to help with recovery there have been relocated to North Carolina. Such a powerful and an important story. Thank you, Queenie. Now, nationwide, there have been 44 officers killed in the line of duty this year. There were 163 killed in the line of duty last year. Your top story at 10, an investigation underway after a body is pulled from the Mississippi River near Andalusia. Tonight, new details emerge in the case. Late today, the Rock Island coroner confirms the body is that of a missing man. Good evening, I'm Chris Carter.
I'm Jenna Jackson. Thanks for joining us. He was last seen in Rock Island while in the Quad Cities for work. Now,
Jenna, TV6 has reached out to the East Moline Police Department to see if the body is that of Switek. We are told that they will provide details tomorrow, but tonight the family of Switek tell us the body is his body. His aunt spent much of the day today in the district of Rock Island handing out flyers. She tells us he was last seen at a bar in the area before disappearing. She said Switek was in the Quad Cities for work.
This isn't, work truck. It was found 2 miles from the hotel.
Now, Switek's aunt, as you just heard, tells TV6 the vehicle was found by his employer through OnStar when he didn't report back to his office on Friday. She says police went to the hotel he was staying at, and housekeepers told police that they noticed he had not used his room for at least 2 days. TV6 is continuing to follow this developing story. Be sure to download the TV6 News app for the very latest as we get it. We will send a push alert when new information comes in. New at 10, protecting yourself from a predator. The city of Davenport seeing a recent spike in car thefts over the last month. Since the start of the month, the police department says it has taken 13 stolen vehicle reports. And while that is an uptick, overall stolen vehicle reports are down 35%. And while none of the car thefts involved physical acts of violence against the car's owner, it is important to be aware and know self-defense in the event that you become a victim. TV6's Spencer Mackey went to a training today and shows us how you can stay safe. It's new at 10.
Spencer Mackey, TV6 News.
And while martial arts may look intimidating to a beginner, the instructors say you don't have to get beat up to learn how to protect yourself. The instructors at today's events also said men should take part in the training and be aware of their situations as well. New tonight, the Joe Daviess County Board has voted to allow marijuana businesses in unincorporated parts of the county. The recreational marijuana dispensaries will be allowed in the areas once recreational marijuana becomes legal in Illinois in January. The Illinois legislature approved the use of recreational marijuana earlier this year and gave counties the options to allow marijuana businesses.
Still left behind damage on the already devastated island.
Some people on the Bahama Islands returned to clean up today. Thousands of people are beginning to return to salvage what few scraps they can from the devastation of Hurricane Dorian. Tropical Storm Roberto hovered over much of the island for the weekend. People who call the island home just want to catch a break.
For me right now, I think going to the lodge.
An American volunteer chopper pilot taking part in rescue efforts in the hurricane-ravaged Bahamas made a startling discovery today as well. As many as 40 survivors still alive in the debris. A live look over downtown Davenport tonight, a nice wrap up to a pretty decent weekend. And as you prepare for the start of your work week, you might want to consider grabbing the shorts. Meteorologist Cedric Haynes joins us now, and we're talking about a summer-like return.
Yes, it will be.
New tonight, messages on rocks. These rocks, that's how one mother is trying to save lives. TV6's Queenie Ama met with the woman behind Kagan's Rocks, and she joins us now with her story. Good evening, Queenie.
Around 7 different countries.
Such a powerful and an important story. Thank you, Queenie. Now, if you or someone you know are struggling with suicide or depression, we encourage you to call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. That number is on your screen. It's 1-800-273-8282. Developing new tonight, a 37-year-old Mexican man in the custody of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has died at a northern Illinois jail. Roberto Rodriguez Espinoza was pronounced dead Tuesday. Rodriguez Espinoza was taken into ICE custody at the McHenry County Jail for allegedly being a gang member. Federal officials say he is the 8th person to die in ICE custody during the year 2019. Tackling gun control, lawmakers are expected to release a plan on gun control this week, and tonight we know one of the options could be an app. The app would allow private sellers to connect to criminal background check systems. Now, currently, as it stands, there's no federally mandated background check for private sales. Most of the options being considered involve beefing up background checks, but there's also been talk of applying bigger penalties when someone buys a gun for someone else and expediting the death penalty for convicted mass shooters. Attacking the allergies, still to come at 10, what you need to know to handle fall allergies as we enter ragweed season. We're just getting some breaking news into the newsroom right now. You are looking at video from a structure fire at 6205 Brown Street. You can see the smoke coming from this. We are told that this is a garage that is burning on Brown Street. Fire crews do have the fire pretty much out right now. We don't know if this fire spread to the home at this point. We are told at this point that there were ambulances on the scene, but we do not know if there were any injuries. We are continuing to monitor this breaking story, and be sure to download the TV6 News app from Google Play or Apple iTunes for the very latest. On the rise tonight, the number of people falling ill with vaping-related illnesses in Iowa is increasing. According to the Iowa Department of Public Health, 13 cases have been reported. Health officials say 12 of them involved cases where THC products were used. The state is providing weekly reports about vaping-related illnesses. 6 people nationwide have died from the illness.
Brittany had nothing to do this. She did not deserve this. She did not bring this upon herself in any way. This was a random act, senseless murder.
A senseless act that took a young woman's life. Brittany Wilson gunned down by someone she didn't know on August 17th, rattling a community not known for crime.
A little bit of our innocence was lost that day.
It would take 3 weeks for Bettendorf police to release suspect details, and only after he was already dead. Police Chief Keith Kimball says there was a reason for that.
This is not just a robbery. This is not, this is a homicide. We get one chance at it. Once we put that information out there, we can never take it back.
Despite the lack of public information, detectives were working hard to solve the crime. They had video evidence of the suspect, a vehicle description, and they knew which way he left the gas station. They provided those details to law enforcement nationwide, hoping for any sort of lead. They didn't get one. Chief Kimball says that was a clue itself. They were likely looking for someone not known to police and likely not known to the victim.
Murders are a lot harder to solve when it's a random act of violence, when somebody's not connected to the victim or the community. He went in to rob the place. He was an angry individual.
What they didn't know was who the suspect was. With little to go on except the fact he was seen leaving town, police didn't believe there was a risk to the public.
It's probably the first and last time he was ever in here. I would guess he was probably in our city for no more than 10 to 15 minutes.
Detectives worked through the night for weeks trying to find answers.
We don't sleep well at night. We didn't know where this case was going because it becomes personal to us.
And now that they have them, they're hoping for some sort of closure in a case that shocked a community and a police department.
2337.
Patrolling the streets
He's still at the PD.
is not very common these days for Sergeant Tony Frankowski.
That's 25 with you there.
But when he does, it is a task that gets his adrenaline going and his mind running.
Usually I'm thinking about what I'm going to do on the call, if I'm going to separate people, what I'm going to do. I think about the call, but always in the back of my mind is, my family.
He knows about the risks that come with the job, and he also knows that everyone deals with them differently. For Sergeant Frankowski, it's through song.
10 o'clock, and I'm late, rushing out the door. Just wanted a few more minutes with my family of 4.
So I started looking for inspiration that way about my family, my wife and my 2 kids back home, and trying to implement them into a song as well as the guys around us, around me at work.
Grab my gear and head on out.
This song.
Streets once more. I won't play line. I won't play line. I won't play thin blue line.
Thin Blue Line, a reminder.
Holding that thin blue line is not always super happy. It's about, there's ups and downs, there's differences of what guys are feeling, what family members are feeling, what the people who are dealing with are feeling.
I won't play thin blue line.
A musician since 15, Frankowski wrote the song and played the guitar. He also enlisted the help of another sergeant, Josh Allen. He's on the drums.
Talking about just a day in the life of a police officer, the mention of a fallen officer really kind of brings things into perspective, I think.
The video was produced by Tavion Johnson of East Side Sounds. It's been posted online for just over a day and seen by thousands.
I mean, support's been awesome. I couldn't have imagined this.
To see this kind of response really shows that there is a huge force behind the community that has a strong support for police officers.
It is a song with a message for all, created by men and women willing to give all for all. Each time that they hit the streets. Now, nationwide, there have been 44 officers killed in the line of duty this year. There were 163 killed in the line of duty last year. Now, both sergeants say that they hope the video can bridge a gap and show people that they are human and have feelings too. And Sharon, the sergeant, told me today that it took them about 1 month to complete this video.